Boom! What's going on, guys? It's your man Ed Hayes here. I got my man Najee Wyatt and my man Mike Moss here for another weekly recap, guys. We want to let y'all know what's been going on out here in the business. It's been crazy. So let's not waste any time. What's going on, fellas? How's it happening? How's it going? How's it happening? What's going
Speak
on?
English much? Hey, we good. We good, man. We doing good, man.
Boom. Hey, well, look, man.
Phenomenal.
Hey, we out here in these streets the whole time. So let's not waste no time, man. Look, guys, I want to just jump right on into this for everybody that may be watching in live or in the replay. Go ahead and hit that like button. Guys, we got a lot of different topics for you all on this particular one. We're going to be talking about novations, how they're different from cash deals. What are they? Are they beneficial? Should you be trying to do them? Well, we've been doing a lot of them, and we're going to give y'all some nuggets, some gems that you're only going to find here. Okay. So, second off, we got a bunch of different other topics as well, but other things like talking about the importance of pushing deals all the way through. What's our best advice for wholesalers in 2024 going into 2024? So, look, let's not waste any time, man. I want to talk about these novations, guys. Like, novations have been cracking lately. A lot of people have been talking about them, but there's a lot of things that you may experience if you're trying to do novations. So, us guys, we're gonna kind of break down some of the pitfalls and the beautiful blessings of novation deals. So let's talk about what novations actually are. I'll go ahead and bust it out. I'll bust it out for the community. Okay. So basically a novation deal is a deal where, basically you're getting the seller to agree to put this property onto the market, basically. You can even just have it in your writing inside of your purchase and sell agreement with that seller. Basically, the seller's agreeing to allow you to list their property onto the market. Well, there's ups and downs and drawbacks and good things and bad things when it comes to novation. So let's kind of talk about it, guys. What tidbits do we have? What can we bless the community with in particular when it comes to novations? What are
Man,
y'all thinking?
first point right away would be make sure you have access.
Yeah.
You either need to have a vacant property with a lockbox on it, or you need to speak to your seller about being able to get inside for access.
hmm That's a big fact. That's a big fact because, like, if you're depending on how you're going to be listing this property as well, let's talk about that. Right, it's several different ways that you
Mhm.
could potentially list that property. For instance, you could list it with a flat fee brokerage, something like a brokerless, where you'll hear a lot of other gurus out here talking about them, or you can go with an actual agent. Well, in the scenario that where you're going with an agent, well, the agent can probably go out to the property and actually get a key, like if a person was there and things of that nature. But if you're going with a flat fee listing, you're not going to have anybody that's going to be able to go out to the property unless you're going to pay someone. So you need to know that you have access. You're going to need a key, preferably a lockbox, because access is very, very crucial if you're going to be getting these MLS buyers into your property. Very often they want to go within like the first 24 hours of you having that property online. So you can't waste any time. That's a big one. That's a big one. What say you, Najee? What say you?
Access, definitely. We have one right now. It's been vacant for about 10 years.
Mhm.
And this particular one, I like the seller. He was really down to earth and let him know, essentially we may be listening. It's in our agreement. And he was fine. We're going to look for a cash buyer first, but if we don't find one pretty quick, then we're just going to go ahead and throw it up, seeing that this particular area, there's not a lot going on. But I
Mhm.
think that we have it at a decent enough price to where a flipper would be interested. If not, then we'll just list it. But he's
Boom.
completely fine with it. And having access is going to be very important because you don't want to be burning through your inspection period
Mhm.
with these buyers wanting to get in right now. Like, okay, how do I get access? Oh,
Boom.
well, let me check with the seller real quick. No, I get a lockbox, or if it's something that's potentially boarded up, tell them, hey, you're going to need to take a drill over there, but you can get in through this door, through that door. If you can meet them there, be there with them. Or
Mhm.
you can have some boots on the ground, be there on your behalf, then have someone there to actually help and walk through the property with that investor.
Boom. So I
And
want to. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was gonna kind of piggyback of what Najee said, um, as far as like kind of being quick on access. Time
Mhm.
kills deals. We all know that.
Totally.
So if you have a buyer that wants to go see a property, right, in the moment, they're like, oh, this looks like a good deal. I think I can make this work. Let me go see it. And you take 2 days to find out how you can get them access, they're going to buy a different property. They're not going to wait on you to spend money.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So you need to be quick with it.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Time is money. Time kills deals. That's the most important, vital rule to keep in mind. But I want to touch on something that Najee just said as well when he mentioned like you got to at a decent price point to where it may work for a cash investor, or if not, it could still list that property on the MLS. So I kind of want to get like kind of niche that down a little bit more or whatever. We can kind of talk about like I guess like let's talk about some of the pros of actually being able to list the property, because I would say that that's a pro. Like, if
Yes.
you can't find a buyer, maybe it's a rural area or something like that, and it's maybe harder for you to find like an off-market investor, being able to put that property on the market is a massive W, I would say. Also, if you're
Mhm.
not local to the property, another massive W is, if you list it with an agent, now they're able to go over to the property, they can take people through it, they may be able to find you a buyer themselves. It just speeds up the process. Well, not necessarily speeds it up because it tends to take longer, but it makes it more efficient for you, so where you can go on and go do the next deal or the next situation. You don't have to actively try to hunt for buyers. Your agent is doing that. What's some other like pluses would y'all say about having like being able to list properties or like doing the novations? What are some other pluses?
And just getting exposure to a different type of buyer. There's people that want to get a fixer upper to live in. So they're going to potentially pay higher because they're not trying to do a flip. They're not looking to rent it out. They'll look at it and say, oh, wow, I can buy that. And if I
Hmm.
put X amount of dollars into it, I'll have a nice place to live.
Hmm.
So being able to get in front of that crowd is advantageous to us as well when
Right.
going with innovation.
Right. The traditional home buyer, basically being able to reach more people that maybe they're a rehabber and they're willing to take on this little project so it can be like their dream home or something like that. It's a whole different market of people. That's true. That's true. What say you, Mike? Any other benefits of novations that you can think of off the top?
So, I mean, really, that's kind of it that I can think of because you got the agent working for you, helping you if you have an agent. You're getting a way, way bigger buyer pool that are going to
Hmm.
be most of the time happy to, move into it and just kind of work on it slowly, take their
Hmm.
time with doing the flip and updating it. That'll give them equity in the property as well. So that's beneficial for them.
Right.
And it just kind of it gives you more time, like you said, to kind of free up and just do other tasks. You have five
Yeah.
other deals you're working on. You don't want to be sitting here on this one deal trying to figure out access over and over and over again.
Right, right. It can get very, very time consuming. Dispo in general can be a lot of coordinating with buyers, coordinating with
Hmm.
sellers, JV partners, title companies, things like that. It's like a lot of back end work. But having an agent does speed up that process a lot. I really like being able to leverage agents when we're in those super rural areas, right? So it like, it'll be really hard to find somebody, but like traditionally, let's put it like that, on a traditional wholesale, it probably would be hard to find people where there's not that many buyers, just not that much activity. Maybe it's very rural, a lot of land, a lot of farmland, things like that. That's where agents really, really come in handy on those kind of out in the boondocks type properties. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, I want to
Or
transition over though into some of the negatives as well. What are you going to say, Mike?
I would say, or even still, not even just like in a rural area, but maybe even a property that's just locked up closer to market value as well.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. Yeah, that's most of the time. That's exactly why we end up trying to go novation on this particular deal, because the numbers are really kind of tight when it comes to a cash deal. So sometimes we can often offer them way more on a novation deal than what we would have been able to do on a cash deal, like the deal that we have out in Eureka right now. that deal, what, they wanted like 325. That's
Yeah.
a more traditional home buyer price point. Most cash buyers are going to want to pay way less. Well, we end up listing this property with an agent. The agent tells us, "Hey, I think you can get this thing sold in 2 weeks at 399." That's wild. You know what I'm saying? Granted, our projected profit won't actually be that exact amount, because that's one of the downfalls, I guess, we can go into, is that when you're
Yeah.
paying agents on that particular deal, I want to say that our agent fee is like 6%,
Yeah.
right?
Six
So up
percent.
to 6%, depending on if our agent actually finds us a buyer or not. Right. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, guys. So it's like that's a cost involved with putting these properties on the market. Your margin has to be pretty large when we're talking about these price points to actually make it make sense. So, and if that price point is not large enough, you may want to reconsider. Otherwise, you may have to come to the table with money to close on this transaction. Everyone's looking at you at that point. So, so that's a big one, is the price point, like the spreads. You have to have large spreads to even consider doing novations. Um, yeah, and then another thing is like the commissions, because you're going to get taxed so much in commissions, like 5 to 6%, and just real estate commissions. Then you may have to double close on this property unless you're going to use your own money. And I recommend doubleclose.com. Shout out to Kelsey over there. And you also have to pay title fees as well. That can be like a 0.5%, 1%, 2%, depending on the title company and the state that you're going to. So kind of keep that in mind. This thing can really, really add up really, really quickly. That's one of the downfalls. Um, I'm trying to think, like, what's some more downfalls to novations, would you guys say?
The cash conversion cycle.
Boom. Talk
Mhm.
about that. Talk about
Yep.
that. Like, explain to the audience what that is, bro.
So if you're looking to list a property and it goes on the MLS, then essentially we know that we can find a cash buyer within 3 to 5 days on a good deal. If they're asking for more, we know that, okay, we can't present this particular deal to a cash buyer if it's above a certain threshold. So, okay, we're going to list it. By listing it and putting it on the MLS, you're exposing it to, I would say, a slower crowd. If you don't have the numbers to where someone is going to purchase it fast, that retail price is going to be more appealing to a retail buyer, someone a traditional homeowner. They're not moving too quick. They might be using a conventional loan to buy that property. A lot of those people are using loans, is what we see majority of the time, and that's not as fast as we would like it, but it works. So also having letting the homeowner be aware of that too, and having your agreement in place to where there's enough time for them to expect, like, hey, this could take 45 days, this could take 60 days. So we have one
Hmm.
agreement that we just got signed yesterday, and it's 45-day agreement. If we can't find a cash buyer within a week, then our next step is to get with an agent or to do a flat listing agreement and throw it on the MLS to attract that
Hmm.
slower crowd. So I would definitely say that the cash conversion cycle is the downside, because I want my money right now. I want my money
Right.
yesterday, but it is what it is.
Right. So it's basically like, how quickly from the time that we actually put out our money are we actually going to get this money back? And in on novation deals, that thing can stretch out pretty quickly. I mean, they can stretch out pretty far. Let's put it like that. So, on a traditional wholesale, you're in and out in 30 days or less, 9 times out of 10. That's a cash deal. If you go on market, it may take you 45 to 60 days to get that deal done. It may take slightly longer than that. So I think on average, it's like 6 weeks or so, or something like that, is going to take you. So your cash conversion cycle is going to take longer. So you're putting money out there, it's taking longer to come back in versus a traditional wholesale deal. So if you get caught up with like 5, 6, novations out there, you want to make sure that you still have a good amount of cash deals going on as well, because otherwise it's gonna get hard for you to get used to making maybe like the same money, but it's just a longer conversion cycle. You're just waiting longer to get paid. So cash is definitely going to pay you a lot faster on average, because people on the market, they're, very often are going to have lenders, things of that nature. They're coming in with traditional financing. So things just take longer. They have to do inspections, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of keep that in mind.
Appraisals.
That's a big thing, right? Appraisals, the cash conversion cycle is very, very important. You really want that to be like 30 days or less, preferably, like ideally. And if, let's put it like this, if you're going to be doing novations, you have to keep that in mind. So I would say try to keep a steady flow of good cash deals coming in as well, despite the fact that you have these novations in your pipeline. Do yourself a favor, for real. What say you, Mike, on that cash conversion cycle or any other negatives that it takes? I mean, like negatives about novations.
I mean, yeah, honestly, the cash conversion cycle is going to be the biggest thing that you
Mhm.
can focus on. Because if you're out here doing $10,000 deal, $15,000 deal, whatever it is, right? You want that money as fast as you can get it so you can pump it back into your business, get more deals flowing, get
Mhm.
maybe hire staff. Maybe you need marketing expenses to, go pay someone to go take photos or,
Right.
do something for a property. Like you need that money as quick as you can get it. So being able to have novation deals is great as kind of like something in your tool belt, just like creative financing is. But cash deals are always going to be like that bread and butter for you.
That's a big fact. That's a big fact. So boom, yeah, it has to be, at least if you want to get paid quickly.
Right.
But yeah, so and then I guess I'll just kind of finish it up with this, in terms of like the novation conversation that we wanted to bring to you all today. I guess like a couple more negatives is like, or it's like things to consider, I would say, would be that like if you're going to be getting, like getting photos is like another thing or whatever. So like if you're going to be going to list a property in a rural area and you want to go with a company like Brokerless, then you're going to need to have some pictures from someone. Okay, so keep in mind that you can't use pictures from the MLS that's already on the MLS to repost them back onto the MLS. Let's put it like that, right? So you're going to have to get someone to get pictures. So that could potentially be a downfall. So, like, if you're going to do like super rural, then you probably want to list with an agent, because otherwise it may be a pain in the ass to actually get a photographer over there, or it may cost you like hundreds of dollars to have a photographer go over there, and you don't even know whether you're actually going to buy the property or not. You don't know if anyone's even going to want to buy it, right? So that's another thing to
Right.
consider. And even coordinating with sellers can be extremely difficult when you're trying to do these, novations. We've got a deal out in Gold Beach, Oregon right now where the seller is just giving us the hardest time ever. We had another one in like McKinsey, Alabama, where the seller was saying some weird crazy stuff. So it's like just being able to coordinate putting properties on the market can be just difficult in general. And like actually, like it'll be family members that's got the key. You got to have the agent meet up with the family member, and they got to put a lockbox on it, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different moving pieces with these novations. So keep that in mind. Like right now, I know a lot of people online are talking about novations. Maybe they're making it sound exciting. I just recently interviewed Robert Winsley, and he mentioned that the number one cause of a wholesaling businesses failing, I want to say in 2022 or this year, was the fact that people were doing too many novations. All right, so keep that in
Mhm.
mind. And also, like the other year was, people doing too many deals in rural neighborhoods. So they're going after these super cheap, really easy to get leads, and then no one wants to buy them because no one's buying there. So try to stay within 45 minutes of your major metros in general. That's just really good advice to just in general. 45 minutes from major metros, 250,000 to $500,000 price points. Do yourself a favor out here. Be selective and specific when it comes to these deals and be willing to let some go. And if you're not going to let them go, at least take the advice that we gave you in this portion of the video to actually move, with some logic and some clarity, understanding the pitfalls that may come. Boom. So,
Boom.
anything else y'all want to add on to this novations? Or should we just move on to the next point? No?
Uh, I would say
Mhm.
staying in touch with the seller during the process too, because as time goes on, sometimes they can switch up on you.
That's a fact. Time
Mhm.
kills deals, man. I think Mike said it best. Time kills deals. So yeah, that communication is key for real. Buyers, sellers, everyone for that matter.
Right.
Okay, so man, let's move right on over to the next topic, y'all. We got a good one for y'all. So